Here we go, clutch installation. First thing that goes in is this ring spacer into the shaft. Second is the large, flat, smooth surfaces on this one, no grooves. That goes next. And then you have the basket with the bearing assembly. Now your bearing assembly should still be together, but you're going to have to remove it so you can get it wiggled in there. So slide out your bearing assembly. And then we hook this in. So you got to come in from the side a little bit. Now we slide the bearings back on, and that aligns the basket where it needs to be. Okay, basket's linked to the motor now. Bearings are in, it's good. Next is the big washer with the grooves coming. There are grooves on both sides, so it really shouldn't matter which side is which, but you can just retain the order in which you had it. Next is the inner basket with your clutch plates. The clutch plates are probably still aligned and they should still be oiled up. If you want, once we get this assembled, you can run oil across the top of this as you turn it just to pre-soak everything. If these were all dry, you'd want to take each plate off and soak the fiber plates in oil. But these still are very shiny in oil. Alright, so we take the inner basket and we slide it in. The plates hook up with the tines on the outer basket and give it a wiggle in. Push some of the plates off here and we'll fix them. There we go on that. Next will be the lock washer and top hat assembly. You need to get that shaft in there as well. This is the clutch push rod. It's cleaned up a bit now. I'm going to oil it, and then that pushes through, and we push it through from the other side. Goes through this system here. Let's walk through it. On the opposite side, underneath the sprocket cover, you can see where this would be. There's a gasket there next to the sprocket, front sprocket. Slider in. So now that's in, you can put the ball bearing in there. Remember, the ball bearing goes in this hole. There's that. And then there's the top hat, as I call it. Goes in. There's an O-ring on it, oiled up. That goes in. And you can see it's hooked up. It'll move. Got to do the nut now, the main nut, and then the lock washer. So lock washer has tabs that recess into this basket face, and then they just kind of hold in there, and then you have the big nut. But you gotta have the top half off in order to do that. Not a mistake. Just temporarily pull that out. Be aware that your ball bearing is still in there, so don't lose it. Don't rock your case around and knock it out and not be aware that it came out. And that is a 27 mil, I believe. Yeah, 27. my assistant here to hold this thing. The plan is I'm going to put it in 6th gear, and then on the other side I have a wrench by the stator rotor. The assistant's going to hold that, and that'll allow me to torque this one, because I can only get this up to 30 by myself, starting to shift. Torque this one down to the 58, and this one is forced to this one is 50 even, 50 foot-pounds even, so I need my assistant here if I can torque that. After it was torqued, you put the top hat on, and then the plate, which I'll show later on. I'm going to have to wait and torque this until I get it back on the bike, or with the sprocket. I don't have the sprocket with me, so I don't have any way to hold this shaft right now. There is a clutch holder, and I could make one, but I don't think it's worth the time right now, so it's cinched up. It's not going to go anywhere as far as now, and I'm certainly not going to run it till then. But in the meantime, I am going to reassemble the clutch mechanism so it's all there and I know it's there. And I will just pop the cover off and torque that nut when it's back in the frame. So I'm going to put the top hat back in as soon as I find it. Okay, and the clutch, and if you recall, I marked that good and heavy with black, and I marked that post good and heavy with black, so I can just go right on and line those two up. And wouldn't you know it, it's a perfect fit. Now I need the clutch springs and bolts.
Yeah, one of them.